just unbelievable to think, did they pass each other as children? You know, did they see one another? So very strange how Brian lived by Fred. That's Brian's house, which I say is very close, and if you look at the little room above the door, that's the room where Brian made the Red Special. I was very lucky to go and see his mum. I spent a day in the house with his mum. If you go to the next picture, I've never shown this to anybody before. That's actually in the room where Brian made the guitar, and it's, when I was there a few years ago, it's exactly the same as it was when Brian and his dad built the guitar. His mum had never changed it. So I was really chuffed to be there, and all the bits, what he used for the guitar, is all on the walls, exactly the same as it was back in the 60s. That one now is Sinclair Gardens, which Michael knows about, 36 Sinclair Gardens. That was Roger's abode, and that's where Fred went to live when he left home. He'd come out of his mum and dad's, and he went and lived there with Roger. So that book's Great of London, and this is included. Okay, so that's the house where Roger got. Roger is the real rock and roller. He is the one who, from a small boy, wanted to be a musician. I have never met anyone like him. I just can't believe how, as a young lad, he was in a band. He wanted to be a musician, and look, you know, he's still there today, 63 years old now, and still playing the drums, which is absolutely fantastic. That's his school that he went to in King's Lynn. I went there this year when I went down to the convention in England. I thought, I'm going to go to see where Roger lived. So I went there, the picture of him. That was from a newspaper article. And you can tell it's him, can't you? Okay. Smile. Quite interesting, isn't it, really? It looks dead young, and Roger, Brian, and Tim. Brian and Roger, have you skipped a couple there? Have you missed a couple of pictures, no? No? Okay. Without Smile, we wouldn't have Queen. It's as simple as that. If Tim wouldn't have left, I don't think we'd have got Queen. If Tim would have stayed with Brian and Roger, Freddie wouldn't have jumped in. It's as simple as that. So I think we can thank Tim for getting out the way and letting Freddie go in. Okay? That's Imperial College. Oh, he's been back. That's Imperial College, where the band used to do the concerts. So when you've read about Queen playing Imperial College, that is the stage that they appeared on. That's Ealing College, where Fred went to art school. So as you know, Freddie was at Ealing, and that's where he met Tim, and now he got to meet Brian and Roger. That's what a drawing he did of Cliff Richard. Fred did a lot of painting, a lot of artwork, and that's one he did of Cliff. The Magnet in Liverpool, if you ever come to Liverpool, that was actually the Sink. So that was the Rumbling Tum Club, and downstairs in the basement is the Sink, where the first time Brian and Roger got on stage with Freddie. That's where Freddie played with Ibex. It's sad really, because they changed all downstairs. I did a walking tour of Liverpool when Queen were with Paul Rodgers. I took a lot of fans, 60 odd fans around the city, and the manager let us go in on a Sunday morning. So we went downstairs in the club, and we actually played some of the songs from the concert, which I think some of you probably got. There's a bootleg CD out of it, which I think many will have. But that's the city in Liverpool. The Magnus is the place to look. Go downstairs, and that's where Freddie played with Ibex. Bit of history in this building. This is Wade Deacon School in Widnes. This is where Wreckage played, but they were billed as Ibex for a Christmas party. And if you go to the next slide, that's the stage where Freddie got the shortened mic stand. That's where he was playing, and he lifted the mic stand up, and it was heavy, and it fell, and he got left with the shortened mic stand. So that's through. It's just been demolished. How sad. Absolutely beautiful room like that, and they've gone and knocked it down. So luckily, got a picture of it. Two pictures, Kensington Market. The one on the left is the stall where Freddie and Roger used to work, where they used to sell clothes and Fred's artwork. No one bought that Cliff Richard painting, which I can't believe no Cliff Richard fan would have gone in there, because it's such a good likeness of him. Now Kensington Market's gone, been demolished again. There's a brand new Curry's or Dixon's electrical shop there now. I was very sad, I didn't know it had been knocked down. When I went last year, I was like, where's Kensington Market gone? So that's a good place. This is Ferry Road, 40 Ferry Road in Barnes. This is when Brian and Freddie and Roger got a house in Barnes. They lived on the bottom floor there and at the side and the back. And it was the most decent place they'd ever lived in, because they were in doss houses. That flat in Sinclair Road and Batoon Gardens is really bad. This was a really nice house. But so many people went and lived there that they got thrown out. There was like 20 people staying, and there was supposed to be 3. So if you're ever in Barnes, some of you will recognise that 100 Holland Road is the place where Freddie lived with Mary as boyfriend and girlfriend. And that was the first place, well, the second place. They lived in Victoria Gardens further down the road. But that was the first decent place that Freddie got. Nice building. Okay. A couple of live pictures from March 1974 at the Rainbow. You can see black and white. It was still there. He took it from the early 70s, 74. It was still there. Made by Wendy Edmonds. That picture, I've just been asked who was the first band member I met. That's John Deacon. That's the first one I met at the St George's Hotel in Liverpool. And after that I met Brian and Roger, and then I saw John again. And John said, "Have you met Freddie yet?" And I went, "No." So he told me what room number he was in. So I was really cheeky and went along the corridor and knocked on the door. Mary answered the door. I was with my girlfriend at the time. And she said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want to see Freddie." And this booming voice, "What do you want?" Sue legged it down the corridor of the hotel. She just ran away. And Freddie said, "Come in." I was with him for about an hour and a half, and he was telling me how he wrote Bohemian Rhapsody, which had just come out, it had just been released. He showed me the cover of A Night at the Opera, which the album wasn't out yet, so I got to see the cover. And he was fantastic. He was really, really nice. But John was the first one I met, so I've got a little bit special feeling for Mr. Deacon there. Yeah, that's from Liverpool Empire, that nice show. Freddie giving it all. Again in his Wendy Edmonds, that was the last costume she made for him, the white one and the black one. He liked the white one so much, he wanted the black one. So that was at the Empire. From Hyde Park, the following year, my favourite gig I ever saw Queen. There was something very special about it. The fact it was free, you didn't have to pay. I've never been to a concert where you didn't have to pay for a ticket. And that one was free, and I've never been in such a big crowd. There was like 150, 175,000 people there, and it was quite frightening. Excuse me, but my favourite Queen gig, there was something about it. It was brilliant. It's the best for me. Yeah, that was in Liverpool at the Adelphi Hotel in 1977. Queen did a couple of shows in Liverpool in the June, and he always stopped for autographs, for photographs. He was so, if you approached him politely, he would give you time. If you shoved something in his face and said, sign that, no, that was not the way to treat him. In fact, Brian's a bit like that. Approach him properly, and you'll get to spend time with him. And that's how I got to spend time with Fred, quite a bit, really. Another one from Liverpool at the Adelphi. Brian, looking very drunk, he'd been out on a night out. And came back in. And another one of them, yeah, drunk the following night. Down at New London Theatre, the fan club, we were invited to go along to the filming of We Are the Champions. And it was amazing because we did the filming and then they did a concert. It was like, what do you want? What do you want us to play? And people were shouting out the song and they played it. I thought, I've never seen See What a Fool I've Been live. So I shouted it and a couple of other people joined in with me and they did it. And that was the only time I ever saw See What a Fool I've Been live. That was great. So when we got invited to the next video shoot, we thought we'd get a concert again and we didn't. The Radio Gaga, we never got it again. Not even if I thought Friends Will Be Friends, we would get a show because they were rehearsing for the tour, but they didn't, they just made the video, sadly. A couple of pictures from Stafford in '78. I fainted at the end of that show. It was so hot, it was like today, it was really hot. And it's the only time in my life I've ever fainted, but I waited for the end of God Save the Queen and then I went down. But it was really, really hot. Of course I'd lost my camera and everything, but... So there's just two pictures I took of the show. These are from America, my friend, I didn't take these, my friend in the States, she was at Oakland, and she was right at the front, and took those pictures and I really liked them. And actually, she got that left one blown up and Freddie signed it for her. He liked the photo, which is why I thought I'd show you that one. That's from Paris in '79 for the Live Killers tour. We went to Paris for 3 nights. I've never seen a lighting rig like it until 2 weeks ago. That is my favourite lighting rig of any band. The one they've just used now with Adam Lambert, knocked that for sixes. It was absolutely brilliant. And of course when the show started with Adam Lambert, it had me in tears. Because it was the pizza rig that he went and did at the beginning, you know, for Seven Seas of Rye and Keep Yourself Alive. So those shows, the 3 Paris shows, I really hope that they're going to bring out this Live Killers DVD. Because if they do, they're going to bring out the Paris, the quality of the Paris tapes are amazing. They're preserved really well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that might come out on DVD. One of Brian, again from Saarbrücken. They did a show in Germany in the August outdoor show. And I took that one of Brian just before the concert. 2 pictures from Saarbrücken. It was John Deacon's birthday. We all sang happy birthday to him. And the road crew bought him the convict suit. And I think that was the only time he actually wore the hat, the full suit. He wore it on the Crazy tour, but he used to wear just the top or the bottom. But that at Saarbrücken he wore the whole suit. And that was the opening, Let Me Entertain You. We were lucky, Let Me Entertain You at the Saarbrücken show. Back in Liverpool, and the Crazy tour was very special. I only went to 14 shows on that tour because I felt I was I felt I was becoming obsessed, and I took a step back, so I didn't go to Bristol or Brighton. And then I was in tears because I thought, this is stupid, so I went to the rest of the tour. I went to all the London shows. I thought, yeah, I am obsessed with them. No different than someone being obsessed with football, who goes to matches every week, travels the length and breadth of the country. I travelled to see Queen. So that was a picture I took at the Liverpool Empire. I know Jackie put a few in the Fan Club magazine a couple of years ago. That was one she didn't include. Another one from Brian from the Empire. As you can see, he signed that one. I was very lucky to go out with the guys in Liverpool, all around the tour, everywhere we went. We used to go out with Brian, Roger and John at the end of the show. We'd go to whatever club they were going, and we'd have some really good nights with them. You know, we'd be in the club till 4 or 5 in the morning. And that's one with Roger at the Hollywood Club. One from Boxing Day of Fred, wearing the Lorex suit. Queen changed after 79. When we did gigs in 80, we had a new Queen, and for me that was the last time that the old Queen ever played. And again, the quality of the film of that concert is amazing. So hopefully that's another live DVD that we're praying will come out. Brian, that was in Brussels, 1980. A year later, they did some gigs, touring Europe. I went over to Brussels to see them. And I actually went to the gig with Brian in the car from the hotel, so that was rather swanky. So that was great going there. So I went with Brian to the gig. A couple of pics from that gig in Brussels. Another one bites the dust, Freddie with his hat, and one of Brian. And I know Freddie came out with a towel, you know, around his neck. So I was right down at the front and said, "Gives your towel?" And he went, "No." I said, "Give me the towel." And he passed me this towel, so I've still got it. I've got the towel from that show. One of me, looking quite startled, I think there with Roger. Brussels, back in Brussels again, back in the hotel. One of Freddie from Leeds in 1982, on his way to the gig. And one of Roger as well, again late at night after we'd been out for a drink. That was taken in America. Freddie told me off for putting weight on. Don't know what he'd think of me now. We went to the hotel in Hollywood, Beverly Hills Hotel, and sat and had a good chat with him there. That was one of my favourite times. A year later we made I've just been telling Michael about the suit, Tom, about the suit from Radio Gaga. I dug it out a few months ago and found that the autographs are still on the forearms, which I can't believe. They're still really clear after all these years. So I'm thinking of putting it in a frame so that it doesn't fade on me. A few months later we went down and made a Wanna Break Free video. Freddie wanted us dressed as miners. There was a strike in the UK of miners, so I think he was taking the mickey and had us all dressed as miners. And then we went back down, 6 of us, in 3 weeks later for him to do this extra bit. If you're watching the video, and when he comes dancing out the cave, the first light you see a helmet is me. I was in the middle. So as the camera pans down, that's me. He was in such a good mood that day. It was one of the best ever. He was just fantastic. I upset him at that filming. I do have a big mouth, and I'll say what I think. It's just the way I am. I can't help it. And he had the moustache shaved off. And I was sitting next to him, because we had makeup put on us, don't know why, but we did. So I'm sitting in the chair, Freddie's next to me, and he had his moustache taken off. And I remember, when he got out of the chair, he went, "I've lost all my strength." And I said, "Well, we've got Freddie back now, you got rid of that muzzy." So he was like, I said, "You'll start writing decent songs." And he went, "I always write decent songs." I said, "You don't. You wrote Play the Game, didn't you?" Do you know when I said it? I thought, I knew I shouldn't have said it, but I did. And he looked, but he was okay, you know. Later on, he was fine with us. He asked if we wanted to stay to watch the ballet getting filmed. He didn't take it out on me. It was years later, it was the convention after Freddie died. Peter Freestone said, "I've got a bone to pick with you, Mr. Jenkins." I went, "Okay, what have I done?" He said, "Can you remember at the Break Free video shoot?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "You told Freddie that you hated Play the Game for not writing good songs." I went, "Yeah." He said, "He was mad at me." And then he walked away after I said it, and then he said to Peter, "I admire him for telling me, because everyone's, Freddie, you're wonderful, Freddie, you're great." He said, "A fan has just told me that he doesn't like one of my songs, but I admire him for telling me that, you know, he told me the truth." So Peter said, that was it. And it was funny because after that, I did get on exceptionally well with him. It's quite strange. Our relationship moved up after that, at that film, that video shoot. So quite special. So there he is doing some rehearsal with David Mallet, the producer, director, whatever he is, from the video. That's the picture that was taken after I told him I didn't like play the game. You can see, can't you? He's not very happy with me. But as I say, he was okay. That picture you all know. Very special. Paul Prentice said Freddie didn't want any photographs taken when he came after the show at the Birmingham NEC. And I had my mum there, and I thought, oh, damn, you know, it's the night that I've been told I can't take photo of him. Anyway, when Freddie came down, I introduced him to my mum, and he said, I want my picture taken with Jim and his mum. And Paul went, I thought you didn't want any photographs taken. I've changed my mind. I want pictures with Jim and his mum. So that's how I got that, and it's probably my favourite photo ever of any photo. Very special, and he was so nice to my mum. He invited my mum round to the house, Garden Lodge, because she said she'd love to sit and watch him play the piano. Never went. I should have took him up on it, I should have reminded him on it, but there we are. Just some pictures from Wembley. At the shows the week after Birmingham. Just go through these. Fred in drag. One of John. And one of Roger. With his zoom lens. Oh, that was me getting filmed for the Magic Years video. With me dyed hair. That was on the steps of Wembley. So when you watch Magic Years, that's how it was filmed. One of Roger at Meltdown. When the Cross played at Meltdown, we went backstage after the gig. And I asked Roger, would you like to come to the pub? There's a pub next door, do you want to come for a drink? And he did. He actually came in the pub and we were all shocked. I didn't think he would. But he came in and introduced me to Martin Groves, who was his new bodyguard. He said, get used to this guy because you're going to see a lot of him, which quite amused me. That was one I took of the Cross backstage in Birmingham at their first gig there when they did the tour, beginning of the year. Roger being silly. That was at the fan club Christmas party in '88. I don't know if anyone, I don't know, probably none of you were there. I can't remember anyone from Europe being there, but Freddie nearly played at that gig. And that would have been the last time he'd ever been on stage. Come so close. Brian and John agreed to play, do the encore with Roger, and we nearly had Freddie. I can't believe how so close. I just wish he'd have done it. A couple of pictures again from that show, one of Brian and one of Roger. Very special night for me, this. That is the last time I ever spoke to him. Not the last time I saw him, but that is the last time. And after the awards ceremony, they had a big party at the Groucho Club, which I was invited to. And I was asked, would I stay at the table where Queen were going to sit? Because if Freddie walked in here now, he'd be very shy because of the people he didn't know. And he would focus on someone who he knew to get through if he had to walk through people. So I was asked, would you go and sit at the table and wait for Freddie to come in the band? So I said, yeah, no problem. I'll wait for him. And when he walked in, he just clocked my eye and he just looked at me and walked all the way to me. Thanked me for standing at the table, by the table. And then in the evening, as the evening progressed, Freddie would come out. So he'd be in the corner, and then he'd come out and start to mingle. Actually, when that was taken, he was standing on his own for quite a few minutes, which is very rare to see him just stand there. And he looked lost, and I thought, I'm going to go over and have a chat to him. And I actually went over to him, and all I said to him was, I'd like to thank you for all the years that you've given me of your life. And he put his hands on my shoulders, and he went, it's funny thinking back on it now, he said, very nice of you to say so, Jim. And when he said Jim, he really held my shoulders tight. I was nearly crying. And it was the way he looked at me, and I thought, this man's dying. You could tell there was something wrong. So a very, very special moment for me there. He got called. George Michael's just standing behind me there, but someone called him, and he said to me, I'm coming back, I'll be back, excuse me. And he went off, and I stood there. He never came back, and I never spoke to him again. So the last thing I ever said to him was thanks, so good really. I did see him the month after that, but he wasn't well. I got invited to the studio when they were recording the Innuendo album. And these couple of photos I'm going to show you now are quite special because Roger Taylor took them. He gave me a drum lesson on his drum and showed me around the studio, and I was supposed to get my photograph taken with all 4 members of the band, but it didn't happen. Freddie wasn't well, you could see that. I walked in the studio and he was singing These Are the Days of Our Lives. And when I walked in, I heard no music. All I heard was the voice. And it absolutely blew me away. I've never heard power in a voice ever like that day. And I burst into tears, quite emotional person, me. And I was crying. And Roger came up and put his arm around me and said, are you okay? But I couldn't speak. I was just mesmerised at Freddie just singing roller coaster ride. And you could see the veins. Yeah, I've never seen anyone sing ever like that. And I'm looking going, he's dying. I saw over this period, when I was doing As It Began, I saw Freddie a lot. And I watched this deterioration. So I knew we were losing. You could really tell. Someone under the headphones, looking cheerful. I think the next one. I think you see I was upset there. They were playing me. Freddie said playing some songs what they'd been recording, and all the songs I heard never ended up on Innuendo. And they were playing me songs Roger, Brian and Freddie wrote, and then John Deacon said, play one of mine. It was called Motorway. Roulette, we'll call Roulette. They never ended up on the album, they were quite good. But I got all upset there. And of course that's at the piano, which Freddie didn't use while I was there. He was just concentrating on the singing of Days of Our Lives. So that song was very special to me as well. I was asked to take the band's costumes up to Blackpool for an exhibition. I had to, didn't I? You're not going to have the costumes in the house and think, nah, I'm going to try them on. So I put Brian's top on, and I actually fitted into Freddie's jacket. I got told off, by the way. We did a fan club Christmas party at the Astoria, and we did an auction, and we had one of Brian's shirts, and I asked him would he come out on the stage while I was doing the auction. I said, because we'll get more money if you come out and say it is your shirt. And he did, he came out, and the money really lifted. He signed it, whoever got it, he said he'd sign the shirt for them, so we actually got him on the stage. Crazy. These are a couple of old pics, going back to 1977. One of me with Amanda, who used to run the fan club. It looks like I'm working there, doesn't it? The picture in the auction Freddie signed was done that day. That's why I put these pictures on. So the picture that I brought with me for the auction, he signed it that day. He came into the office and he had some new pictures, and he just said, oh, do you want me to sign one? I didn't even have to ask him, and he just signed it. So these new promo pictures of Queen. So I thought I'd bring it for you. There's one of Jackie at the top of Liverpool Cathedral. When we started working As It Began, I'd go down to London, stay with Jackie, she'd come up to Liverpool, and we were finding out all bits about Fred in Liverpool and everything, so we spent a lot of time together for the 4 years while we were working on As It Began. And that was a party we went to when the book was first published. So, first time I'd actually seen the book. After Freddie died,